Hello and welcome to Rathod's IAS. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 23rd August 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see today's quote. So today's quote is also a motivational quote. It says that courage is not having the strength to go on, but it is that you have to go on whenever you do not have any strength. So courage is not having the strength to go on, it is going on when you don't have the strength. So this quote, which is very much apt for this UPSC civil services preparation. Yes, if your strength, yes, you will be doing courage and you will be doing your preparation. But even though if you are not having strength in that time, at that time, so if you are continuing your studies and if you are continuing your preparation, finally that will help to reach your heights, right? So this is the importance of courage. So courage is very important for UPSC civil servant in this long journey. So how many of you have this courage to clear this UPSC CSE? So let me know in the comment box. So now let us try to see the first topic. It is regarding development and ecological balance. So why it is in news? Already we know the background. So recently cloud burst happened in Himachal Pradesh and that led to the casualties. And many people, they got injured. So regarding this, yes, recent one report which released, and that report says that Himachal Pradesh, which is a very much vulnerable to disasters, right? So we are going to link this background with the development. So how development will be having some negative impacts on this ecological balance, okay? So if you are talking about the same topic in ethics, so there also we have one topic called as environmental ethics, right? So there we are going to discuss about development versus ecological balance or development versus environment. Yes, we have to protect environment on one side and we have to go on this development also. So it is a one ethical dilemma, okay? So this is one ethical dilemma regarding this ethics point of view. So that we are going to study in our ethics subject, that is GS4. So now let us try to understand this topic. So actually what happened present, we are in monsoon season. So as you all know, monsoon will get rainfall to our country as most of the 70% of our agriculture depends upon this rainfall, monsoon rainfall. So that I can call it as a rain-fed agriculture, correct? So here monsoon rainfall over India is 8% more than compared to that of the usual, okay, that we see in this time. So we are having 8% of more rainfall. Yes, this rainfall is very much good for India because most of the agriculture is dependent upon the rainfall. There is no proper irrigation facilities in some areas. So in that areas, especially farmers, they depend upon this rainfall itself. So it is very good for this agriculture in some regions. But in some regions, due to this heavy rainfall, we experienced floods. And we are having some devastating consequences because of this heavy rainfall in especially some areas. So if you are talking about recent case study in Himachal Pradesh, at least 25 people, they were killed over a weekend because of this torrential rainfall that triggered flash flood and landslides in this Himachal Pradesh and some areas of Uttarakhand. So in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, 25 people, they lost their life due to this torrential rainfall and flash floods, and this floods that led to this landslides. So several roads, they were blocked. So for example, if you see, this is a hill which is present here and we have a road here. So because of heavy rainfall, what happens? So what is the soil which is present here, that will be saturated and suddenly we can see landslides will be happen. So whenever this landslide is happening, so this debris that will become and that will be deposited on these roads. So because of this, that will lead to temporary blockade of the roads, okay, till this is cleared by the government. So here currents washed away the bridges and vehicles also. So in some areas, so this flash floods that also washed away some bridges and as well as vehicles. So as of now told, that is the number of people who died in this Himachal Pradesh, they were about 21, and how many people they injured? About 12 people they injured, and some people they are also missing because of this downpour. So this is the context and this is some background. Already you know about that. If you are following our news analysis daily, yes, we already discussed about this topic and we discussed about some geographical based concepts regarding what is a cloudburst, what is a landslide, what is avalanche, what is the downpour, etc. So all we have done. So if you are talking about what is the impact, so first you know that yes, loss of life and loss of property and also blockade of roads due to long landslides, blockade of roads, and not only that, injuries, and some people they missed. So these are primary things. Okay, so these are the surface manifestation. So on surface, yes, we know landslide happened. So because of that led to death, missing of people because of downpour, property loss, road blockade, temporary effect in the trade, etc. And but on other side, we will be also having some secondary effects, and these secondary effects are long-term effects. For example, so there will be disruption in the schools. So if there is cloudburst or heavy floods, flash floods, yes, the schools will be getting holidays. For example, in recent urban floods of Telangana state, so Telangana state also announced the holidays for the schools for 3 to 4 days last month. And apart from that, even there will be some disruption for the transportation facilities also. So because of this disruption in the schools and as well as the transport facilities, they will be having long-term impact, because that will lead to loss of productive hours for the children, for the teachers, and for the transport people who are involved in this. So not only this, even because of the flash floods, so cattle will be also suffered, because if there is no rainfall, means cattle will be taken to outside for the grazing. So they will be getting good ample amount of the food for them. But in the rain, so here the owner of the cattle, they will be not taking the cattle outside, because they will be also having some fear, like, so if there is any thunderstorm will happen, means that will also having the loss of the life and as well as the cattle also. So because of that fear, cattle will be not taken outside. And next one here is what are the saplings. For example, in this monsoon season, we will be going for kharif planting, right? Kharif saplings, or we can go for transplantation of rice. So in that way, here cattle and the saplings, they will be left to perish. And because of all these impacts, that will be having some destroying of livelihood of the people and disabilities of the family finances. And we can also see the strains, the finances of the state exchequer. So why state exchequer? So if there is any loss for the plantations are happening, that is the crops, yes, under this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, so government need to provide some insurance for the farmers. And even if there is any loss of life is happening, so government need to give some ex gratia. So in this way, it is also having some stress on the finance of the state exchequer also. So this will be the impact. I discussed about the short-term impact and also long-term impact. And if there is any points that you can add, so please let me know in the comment box. So, and recent report which said that Himachal Pradesh, which is very much vulnerable to the natural disasters, and because of the problem due to this development. So whenever we are having development from the last years, last some decades, so that also led to increasing of these ecological imbalances. So if we are talking about what are the challenges, so for example, if you are talking about Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, they have certain unique challenges. They are facing some threats of climate change. So monsoon rain patterns are being disrupted, and for example, they are facing this cloud burst like events, and even they are also having the heavy frequency of high energy cyclones and as well as droughts. So what happened for this? We need to go for early warning system. But what are the early warning system that we are having regarding this cloud burst? It is less efficient than compared to that of cyclones. So for cyclones, IMD, Indian Meteorological Department, which will be giving proper warning regarding this the cyclones. But regarding this flash floods and lightning, as well as cloud burst, there is no proper warning that we can see here. Okay, so what is the need here? So whenever we are going for the development, yes, we need to focus on what will be the effect on our environment. So whether there is any ecological damage that is happening or not. So we need to go for proper scrutiny before those development projects that come into existence. Okay, so this is about this topic in detail. And now let us move on to next topic. It is regarding Anganwadi scheme. So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under governance point of view. And here you have to know about what is under Anganwadi scheme and what is ICDS scheme, what are the important objectives of this ICDS, and what are the important or what is significance of this Anganwadis. So what are the important role played by the Anganwadis. So that you have to know, and at least you have to have 5 to 7 points in your hand to write answer regarding this ICDS scheme for sure. Because health is one of the important area that where you can get most of the questions in your mains from your GS paper 2. So now let us try to understand this topic. So if you see, yes, we are at the 75 years of our independence, and government came up with this Anganwadi scheme as part of integrated child development scheme. And under this, government which is mainly serving about 30 million children who are between the age of 3 to 6 years, and there are about 1.3 million centers of this Anganwadis. They are present across the country. Okay, so I think I can say that. So with this 1.3 million centers, so it is a great success that we can say for the establishment of this Anganwadi centers, right? So here you have to know about what is this ICDS scheme, and you have to know about some data, and you have to make a note of this data. Like, so under this Anganwadi scheme, so government which is serving over 30 million children, and they belongs to age group of 3 to 6 years, and there were about 1.3 million centers. They were present across the country. So this is the data that you have to make a note. And this ICDS scheme is designed to support all children under the 6. They will be providing health, they will be getting nutrition and education needs. So how they will be providing health and as well as nutrition? Yes, under this Anganwadi schemes, it will be providing the meals for the children, and especially they are going to give one boiled egg for a children a day. Every day they will be getting a boiled egg, and they will be also getting some nutrition supplements like balamrud, and they will be also getting some chips, etc., that are mainly made up of micronutrients. Okay, so in this way here Anganwadi which is providing some nutrition services, health services and education needs also this. So they will be also making the children to learn elementary education, for example 1 to 3s and ABCDs, etc. here. Okay, so here this Anganwadis, they are providing especially health services, nutrition services and also early education for the children. So this will be very much helpful in our future, because so here one report, that is United Nations Population Prospects report, said that we are going to be the most populous country in the world with a good demographic dividend. And when we want to use that demographic dividend, yes, we need to focus on health, nutrition and education needs. That is doing by this Anganwadis now. Okay, so however India over 70% of children, they are enrolled in this Anganwadis. But one problem we are facing in this Anganwadi is there is low attendance. So here there is low attendance, and parents simply do not pursue these Anganwadi centers as centers of learning. But they will be sending the children especially to get their egg and as well as food. Okay, and some supplements they are giving. So this is thing that I see from very near, because in my mother-in-law's house and villages, so they used to send their children especially at the time when they are going to give the egg in the afternoon times especially, and after once they had their lunch there, and they will be coming back to the homes, and they will be not sitting in the Anganwadi centers, and they will be not learning even the elementary education like ABCDs or 1 to 3 etc. And just at the time of food, okay, whenever they are offering the food, at that time only they will be going to the school, and they will be returning back after having their lunch and their egg, and even they do not take their slates to this Anganwadi centers to learn alphabets also. Okay, so one of the important challenge that we are facing in this Anganwadi centers here is, so there is a very low attendance. And if you are talking about this ICDS scheme, Integrated Child Development Scheme, so this scheme started in India in year 1975, and what is the aim of this scheme? It is to provide holistic development of children and even to empower the woman or the mother. So it is a centrally sponsored scheme. That means here the sharing of expenditure. Okay, so here the grants will be shared between both the center and as well as state. Like for example 90 to 10%, 75 to 25%, 60 to 40%, 50 to 50%, like that. So this scheme which mainly comes under which ministry? Ministry of Women and Child Development. So this is one important prelims fact. And if you're talking about what are the objectives of this ICDS scheme, so it is focusing to improve the nutrition and as well as health status of the children, okay, who are between the age of 0 to 6 years, and they want to mainly lay a proper foundation for their psychological, physical and social development of the child, and they want to reduce the incidence of mortality, morbidity, malnutrition as well as school dropouts, and they want to achieve effective coordination of policy and implementation which will be done by the various departments to promote child development. And even they are focusing on to enhance the capability of mother to look after the normal health and even nutritional needs of the child, and they are also focusing on nutrition as well as health education. Okay, so in this integrated child development scheme, they are focusing on especially nutrition and health status of children, and they want to lay the foundation psychological, physical, social development of children, and they want to reduce this mortality, morbidity and malnutrition rate. So how can we measure malnutrition? For example, through stunting and through wasting. So let me know what is stunting and what is a wasting, and let me know recent data according to this National Health Family Survey 5, which talks about the stunting and wasting. Already we discussed this topic number of times, and I want to test your memory. So please let me know in the comment box. So what is the data according to this National Family Health Survey 5 regarding the stunting and malnutrition in India? So if we are talking about what is the importance of this Anganwadi, so why they are important? So as these Anganwadis, they comes into the part of ICDS, Integrated Child Development Scheme. So they plays an important role in supporting the households, particularly this low income families, so who cannot offer the proper nutritious diet to their children. So they can send their children to these Anganwadi centers such that they will be getting some nutritious food. And here this Anganwadi centers, they will be also provide the child care, health, nutrition, education, supplementary nutrition, immunization, health checkups, etc. So especially for the pregnant women, so whenever they are going to this Anganwadis and they are enrolling in this Anganwadis, so they will be getting the nutritious diet, and they will be providing with the milk and egg, okay, egg daily, and also they will be getting some vaccines, okay, which need to be taken during this pregnancy. And not only in this pregnancy, after the delivery also this Anganwadi centers, they will be providing especially some vaccines to the newly born child, okay, and they will be also providing this early education, and they will be providing some supplementary nutrition for the pregnancy and lactating women and even children who are below the 6 years of age. And early child, it is a crucial developmental window, okay, that is till 5 years. So in that 5 years, yes, parents need to provide the proper nutrition for the children, okay, that will be helpful for the national building, okay, nation building in the future. So if we are not providing the proper nutrition, means child will be suffering with the malnutrition, and the capability of the child will be decreased, and finally he will be not going to get the good jobs or good life in the future, right? So here nutrition support is very important. So we need to send our children to these Anganwadi centers, and we need to send our younger children to these Anganwadis. Whenever we are sending our children here, women, they will be getting some free time, right? And that will be helpful for doing some economic activities, and that will be contributed to our economy. And next one here is National Education Policy 2020, which also places Anganwadis at the center to push universalized access to early education care. Okay, so even in our National Education Policy 2020, it says that yes, Anganwadis plays an important role for the promotion of early child education. Okay, so these are the some contributions of these Anganwadi centers. So this is about this topic in detail, and I hope you understand this. So if there are any points that to be added, so please let me know in the comment box. So try to make it as a more interactive way. So next topic here, it is regarding Delhi excise policy. So this policy which is not come up in year 2022, but it came up in the November 2021 itself. But because of some issues now, we can see there is some controversy which is happening regarding this Delhi excise policy. So this topic is important regarding your GS paper to under governance and polity point of view. So now let us try to understand this topic. So when this excise policy came up in Delhi, that is in 2021-2022 November. Okay, the last November we got this New Delhi's excise policy, and this policy which mainly focusing to ensure revenue for the state government. So alcohol, or excise. Excise duty is one of the important source of revenue for the states, and because of this, to improve the revenue for the state, here New Delhi came up with this New Delhi excise policy of 2021 in the month of November. So what happened? So it is focusing on spurious bottle-legged liquor and also focusing on transforming consumer experience that ran into protest and widespread allegation of procedural lapses. So now because of this excise policy which came up in this New Delhi, so we are seeing some riots and as well as some protests that are mainly seen, okay, because of some procedural lapses in this excise policy. So actually because of this, the government which mainly forced to scrap this act, okay, this policy from August 1st, 2022. So what is the issue here? So on July 22nd, Delhi Lieutenant Governor, that is Vinay Kumar Saxena, he recommended CBI probe into the new policy. Okay, and because of this, here CBI went for some raids on the premises of this Delhi government's Deputy Chief Minister, that is Manish Sisodia. So he mainly holds this excise portfolio. So here there are some issues regarding some corruption. Okay, they are mainly doing some favor for these private parties. So because of this, here CBI did some raids on this Manish Sisodia. He is mainly holding this excise portfolio, and his role under the scanner for allegedly providing undue financial favors to private liquor licenses. So why there is a CBI probe? Because so there is one allegation that so he is doing some financial favors to the private liquor licensees. Okay, so because of this, they went for the raid on this person. So if you're talking about some key reforms, they came up through this New Delhi's excise policy here is, so it bars, okay, it mainly says that bars in hotels and clubs, restaurants, they can open till 3 a.m. Okay, so here now, after this act which came into, or policy which came into existence, now the hotels, bars and clubs, restaurants, they can open till 3 a.m. and government will not be actively involved in the retail liquor trade. So in retail liquor trade, so there will be no involvement of government, and this will lead to closure of state-run shops. So they are mainly promoting private players in Delhi regarding this alcohol, right? So every liquor vend in Delhi will provide a walk-in experience to the buyers. So here this liquor shops, they are mainly going to have air-conditioned rooms, okay, and such that here no one can be wait outside the glass doors. Okay, so this is about this topic. And if you are talking about what are the concerns which are expressed here, so because of this new policy, here the number of liquor vendors in Delhi, they have been increased from 680 to 850, and they are all private owned and as well as privately operated. So one person can hold more than one retail license, and they are heavily regulated by this excise regime also. And actually here one important cause of concern here is, so private liquor vendors are opening up across the capital, and even whenever in some areas they are not allowed, in that area also they are going for opening of this liquor vends. And this one here is policy does not highlight about home delivery of liquor, which is included in this excise rules, and here it also not highlighted about the drinking age. Okay, so at which age there can be allowed for the drinking. Okay, and even the proposal which may reduce the age from 25 to 21 years. So this is one cause of concern regarding this excise policy. So now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding India-Iran signed pact to aid movement of seafarers. So seafarers is nothing but the people who are mainly sailing on the water. So they are also called as sailors. So this topic is important from your international relations, which comes under your GS paper 2. So now let us try to see this topic in detail, and this topic is important from your prelims and as well as mains. So here in a bid to aid movement of seafarers between the two countries, so recently India and Iran, they signed Memorandum of Understanding MOU, and it is mainly based on the recognition of certificates of competency in unlimited voyages, and they want to help these seafarers. So whenever these seafarers, they are going for this unlimited voyages, so if there is any need to take the halt, yes, they are going to get some help from the Iran now. Okay, so they are under the provisions of International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification and Watch Keeping of Seafarers 1978. So if you are focusing on some important details here in this meet, so here Iran and India meet, so they mainly said that the potential of the port, that is Chahbar port to act as a shift and economical trade in between the Central Asia and as well as South Asia and even Southeast Asia, which mainly remain to be tapped fully. So whatever the service that is provided by the Chabahar port, yes, we can use that. And the development of this Chabahar port, that will also lead to increasing of trade and as well as shipment volume. So if we're talking about what is the significance, so here in recently in 2020, in this COVID-19 pandemic period, yes, India supplied about 75,000 tons of wheat to Afghanistan as part of humanitarian assistance, as well as it also provided about 40,000 liters of this malathion. So malathion, it is a pesticide which is mainly acting on this locust. And also India sent about 96% of this ULV pesticides to Iran, and that too via this Chabahar port, and they want to mitigate the cost of the threat, because which mainly caused due to this locust, and it's also affecting the food security in the region. So if you see map, here we have Pakistan, here we have Gardar port, and here we have Chabahar port. So from Mumbai we are reaching this Chabahar port. So from this Mumbai to this highways and railways, so we are reaching this Kabul. So why? Because here Pakistan is not allowing us to use the airspace also. So what is this convention? That is International Convention on Standard of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping for Seafarers, 1978. So this mainly sets some minimum qualification standards for the masters, officers and watch personnel on sea-going merchant ships and as well as large yachts. So if they want to go on this merchant ships and as well as large yachts, yes, they need to go for certification. Okay, so this is about this topic, and I hope it is clear. And now let us try to see some more important articles that appear in other newspapers. Title says, create more women-centric NREGS work, says PAL panel. That is parliamentary panel. So PAL panel is nothing but parliamentary panel itself. So here this article talking about MGNREGA, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So here you have to know some basic facts regarding what is MGNREGA, and you have to know about what are the recommendations of this parliamentary panel, and you have to see why it is in news. And we can also connect one more topic here is, so how we can connect this MGNREGA with achieving of our sustainable developmental goals, and which are the development goals, sustainable development goals linked to this MGNREGA. So that will be very important to write your mains answer. So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 point of view, and exclusively this topic is important from your mains. So now let us try to see why it is in news. So why it is in news? Here recently Parliamentary Standing Committee on Rural Development and Panchayat Raj submitted some recommendations. So recommendations with respect to this Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. And this report says that yes, we have to focus on women-centric work under this scheme. So why women-centric work? Yes, you have to know that. So here if you are talking about some facts regarding this MGNREGA scheme, so it is a National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, and this notified in year 2005. So under this, what happened, government it is going to provide 100 days of work, okay, especially in the rural areas but not in the urban areas. So this is one important fact that you have to know. And here under this scheme, it provides 100 days of guaranteed wage employment in a financial year to every household, every rural household whose adult members, they are volunteered to unskilled manual work. So for example, in a rural area, so from a family, so if any person who is going and who is voluntarily giving his name here, so he will be getting employment for 100 days. So under this scheme, so it was created mainly to implement the act so that it will guarantee comes into effect. And actually it is a centrally sponsored scheme. So here scheme, it is jointly funded by the central government as well as state government. And under which department this scheme runs? It is Ministry of Rural Development. So this is one important prelims fact again. So now let us try to see what are the recommendations. So there are two recommendations made by this parliamentary panel. So first one here is women-centric work. So why women-centric work here? So if you see, whenever this scheme came into existence in 2005, they said that there might be like 1/3 of women they will be enrolling. But now if you see the recent data from last 5 years, so it had been around 50% mark. That is, the women, they are also actively enrolling under this MG Narega scheme. Okay, so here women, they want to have a proper livelihood and they want to support their family. So because of this, here parliamentary panel says that yes, we need to go for promotion of women-centric works. That will be helpful for ensuring the livelihood for the women. So this is the first important thing. And next one is wage parity. So if you are seeing the wages of this MG Narega in one state to another state, it is mainly having some difference. So committee says that here Ministry of this Rural Development needs to bridge the wage disparity. So it needs to decrease the wage disparity and we need to come up with a uniform wage rate structure for all the states. Okay, so the wage will be like between rupees 193 rupees to 318 across the different states, and we need to focus on this. And if we are talking about what are the important features of this MG Narega, so first one here is it mainly funded by the central government and it is a centrally sponsored scheme. So your funding will also shared between the center and states. It will be helpful for empowering of women. As you all know, 50% of the women, they have been enrolled, and it is a time bound guaranteed labor. So if they are not getting the job, or if they are not getting the work under so and so time period, so they will be also getting some compensation from the government. And it is a labor intensive manual work, so there is unskilled work. It is not talking about the skilled work at all. And we will be having a proper transparent system in this MG Narega, and we are also having the coordinated local self government. So here here if any person who want to do the labor under this scheme, yes, they will be going to this panchayats and they will be registering themselves. So here we are having the good coordinated local self bodies here. So how this MG Narega will leads to the attaining of our sustainable development goals or achieving of the sustainable development goals. So first developmental goal, sustainable development goal here is no poverty. So whenever government is ensuring the proper livelihood to people, they will be getting certain amount of income. So that will help to come out of this poverty. And zero hunger. So whenever they are getting amount into the hands, then they will be going and they will be having the good food, and that will also leads to good health and well-being of the people. And whenever you are getting a proper livelihood, yes, they will be sending their children to the schools. So proper education will be also ensured, and gender equality, and it will be also providing some decent work, and economic growth is also one important consequence of this MG Narega. And we are also focusing on innovations and infrastructure, because we are going for creation of assets in this MG Narega scheme and reduced inequalities. So these are some important SDGs, sustainable developmental goals, that are contributed through this MG Narega scheme. And now let us try to see the next topic. It is regarding forever chemicals. So you can get a question like, so recently forever chemicals are seen in news, so what it is related to. So this article is important from your science and technology, which comes under your GS paper 3, and this topic is important from your prelims. So now let us try to understand this topic. So if you see the context, it mainly says that, so recent study published in Environment, Science and Technology, and this study found that in rainwater, especially in many places across the globe, so whenever the rainwater it is coming onto the ground, so they are mainly like this rainwater is contaminated with this forever products, okay, forever chemicals. They are called as per and polyfluoroalkyl substance, that is PFAs. Per and polyfluoroalkyl substances are mainly seen in the contaminated rainwater. So these forever chemicals, they are having ability to stay long in the atmosphere, and whenever there is a occurrence of rainfall, so they will be mixed with this rainwater and they will be coming down. Okay, so if you go for the checking of the quality of this rainwater, yes, in that we can see the presence of these forever chemicals. So in which products we can see these forever chemicals are there? For example, in furniture, in paints and varnishes, in heat resistant non-stick pans or non-stick cook surfaces, in pesticides, insulation of electric wires, and food packaging materials, adhesives, water repellent clothing. So in all these things we can see this per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. So if you are talking about the details, so these substances are the man-made chemicals, and these chemicals, they are especially used to make non-stick cookware and water repellent clothing, stain resistant fabrics, cosmetics, firefighting foams, and many other products that resist grease, water and oil. Okay, so these chemicals are used to make especially this non-stick cookware. So because of this, we can see this using of non-stick cookware, it is very much harmful for our health. So if you are using that, so please try to avoid them. And next one here is even in the stain resistant fabrics and cosmetics, firefighting foams. Okay, so in these products also we can see the presence of this forever chemicals, and these forever chemicals, they can migrate into the soil, and not only the soil but even into the water and air, and they have the ability to stay longer periods of time. Okay, and even we can see these chemicals, they will also build up in people and as well as animals if they are repeatedly coming into contact with them. So here variety of health risk that we can see because of this forever chemicals, like, so that will lead to decreased fertility. So decreased fertility is one of the important problem that we are seeing. So because of this, I can say one important fact that I found here is, so if you see any hospital, especially these fertility hospitals everywhere, so they are having the huge number of patients than compared to that of any department. So fertility department, so here because of increasing of infertility in infertility cases, that led to rise of income for this infertility hospitals, so the fertility hospitals and the fertility treatment like IVF, IUI, etc. And if you see here developmental efforts in the children that we can see here, so there will be improper development in the children, and here these chemicals, they will be interfere with the body hormones, and also they will be increasing the cholesterol levels. So whenever there is increasing of cholesterol levels and depositing of cholesterols, that will leads to the blockade of arteries, and that will be having some impact on your heart. So we can see heart related diseases like angina, myocardial infarction, hypertension, angina, etc. So these are some of the diseases that we can see because of this forever chemicals, and there is also increased risk of cancer in some cases also. Okay, so these are the health impacts, and this is about this forever chemicals. And now let us try to see next topic is regarding NAFIS. So this topic is very important from your science and technology point of view. Actually, it is talking about National Automated Fingerprint Identification System. So it is talking about your fingerprint identification. Especially it is useful for the fast investigation of crimes, cases, etc. So if you have watched this CID, so there they will be tracing the fingerprints, they will be taking the fingerprints in the crime area, and after collecting the fingerprints, they will be matching whether it will be matching with the other previous records or not, what are the database you are having. So in the same way here this article talking about, yes, we need in National Automated Fingerprint Identification System, and this is inaugurated by Government of India. So this article is very important from your science and technology, especially regarding this forensic, right? So now let us try to see why it is in news. So here I found this image, it is a very interesting, it is talking about your fingerprints, right? So here if I add this type of images, so even though if you don't know about the content, so if I ask about what is NAFIS, then in news means, yes, if you have seen this picture, yes, you will be having at least a pictographic memory, and this pictographic memory is important to recollect the facts that is present in your subconscious mind, right? So if you see the why it is in news here, Union Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurated National Automated Fingerprint Identification System NAFIS, okay, on August 17th at the 2-day National Security Strategies Conference. So in this National Security Strategies Conference, here our Union Home Minister, he inaugurated this National Automated Fingerprint Identification System. So if we're talking about some details, it is conceptualized and it also managed by National Crimes Record Bureau at a Central Fingerprint Bureau, okay, in New Delhi. And this project, it is a country-wide searchable database of crime. So if you're having a database, yes, if you have to investigate any crime, so you can use this database to fast identification of the criminals. Okay, but if you have this criminal related fingerprints, yes, you can match them and you can identify whether it is matching or not. And here we are also having this central information repository. It is a web-based application and it will help to consolidate the fingerprint data from all states and union territories. And according to this report of 2020 by this National Crime Record Bureau, it also enables the law enforcement agencies to upload and to trace and to retrieve the data from the database in real time within 24/7 basis. So it is a very helpful actually. So in April 2022, the first state, okay, that came up with this identification of the person through this NAFIS, it is Madhya Pradesh, and this is very important fact. And if you are preparing for other public service examination, so this point will become a potential question also. So what is the significance? So yes, we can upload, we can trace, we can retrieve data within a short period of time and to the 24/7 basis, and it will be also helpful for quick and easy disposal of cases also. So how it works? So under this, here we will going to assign a 10-digit national fingerprint number for the person who arrested in the crime, and this is a one unique ID. So this will be used for the person's lifetime, okay, and whenever he is doing different crimes, so that will be added to this ID number, and automatically it will collect the data, it will store the data, and also matches the fingerprints also. Okay, so here it is also connected, okay, it is also connected to this crime and criminal tracking network system, that is CCTNS database, and in this way it will be very much helpful for the identification of these fingerprints of a criminal. And now let us try to say next topic is regarding tomato flu. Tomato flu detected among the children in India, says Lancet. So one thing I want to make you clear here is, it is not because of tomato flu is not because of consuming tomato, but what are the blisters that are seen on the surface of the skin, it will be appearing like pink color or the tomato like thing. So because of this it is called as tomato flu, and don't mistake that because of eating tomato we are getting this tomato flu, and don't avoid eating tomato. Tomato is a good source of antioxidants and vitamin C, so it is very essential for our body. Okay, so this article is again important from your SNT, from your GS paper 3 point of view. So in this GS paper 3 and science and technology, you will be having a topic called as diseases. There we will be studying about the communicable disease and non-communicable disease. So there we can also add this new disease, that is tomato flu. So if you see the context, it mainly says that doctors, they have sounded an alarm over the emergence of new non-life-threatening virus. So it is a non-life, it is not threatening the life. Okay, it is non-life-threatening virus that is called as a tomato flu among the children, especially it is seen among the children who are below the age of 5 years. So only 5 years. So whenever we are carrying our children, yes, they will be touching the surfaces, and suddenly they will be keeping their hands into the mouth, because they do not have a proper awareness about if I am keeping the hands in my mouth, it will be causing disease. They do not have the proper awareness. So because of this, what happens? So we can see this tomato flu, which is very much highly prevalent in this children who are below the age of 5 years. So if you're talking about details, so this tomato flu, which caused by this Coxsackie virus A16, so it is a viral disease and it belongs to enterovirus family. That means it is going to affect our intestine and stomach. So this tomato flu, it is a viral disease, and what are the signs and symptoms? We can see red color rashes and some skin irritation, and extreme dehydration is seen in these cases, and the fever is affecting the children who are below the age of 5 in the Kerala. Okay, and flu gets its name from this its name, that is tomato flu, because of the red color blisters that it causes on the surface of the skin. And recently around 80 children, they had been infected so far with this tomato flu. So what are the signs and symptoms? It is high fever, rashes, skin irritation, and we can see the legs and as well as the palms, they will be becoming the red in color. And children, they also might experience abdominal cramps, body aches, fatigue, nausea, vomiting and diarrhea. So what is the treatment? So there is no proper treatment, but we have one advice that we have to stay hydrated. Okay, so these are some blisters that you can see, and they will appear like red color, so it is like a tomato, so it is called as tomato flu. So now let us try to see the practice questions of prelims. So first one is, in addition to fingerprint scanning, which of the following can be used in the biometric identification? So as you all know, in Aadhaar cards you will be having this biometric information. So yesterday there is one article like linking of this Aadhaar, it is mandatory, okay, so they are forcing. So what happened? So because of this I came up with this question. So here why we need to link this Aadhaar, because especially in some areas they will be having the 2 voter IDs. So whenever we are linking with this Aadhaar, yes, we can reduce a bogus voters card, okay. So because of that aim, so this is a thing which mainly seen in the studies article though, so I forgot to mention this point, so I am saying now. So please add this point for this studies article. And here iris scanning, yes, in Aadhaar card, yes, we have this iris scanning, and we have our fingerprints, and we have retinal scanning also, and voice recognition. So this voice recognition is also one of the biometric identification. So answer here is D, 1, 2, 3. So if the interest rate is decreased in the economy, what it will? So it is UPSC CS 2014 question. So it will decrease the consumption. So whenever there is decreasing of interest rate, what happen? So there will be more amount will be available, okay, in the banks, and people, they will be going to the banks and they will be getting the loans. So whenever people, they are getting the loans or money in the hands, yes, they will go for investment. They will do expenditure in the investment. So correct option here is C. They will be increasing the investment in the economy. So these are the prelims practice questions. And now let us try to see the topic of the day, and this image I got from the today's Hindu itself. It is the river Narmada. So there is a river Narmada which is having the high inflow of water. So if you are talking about this river Narmada, which is mainly originated in this Amarkantak, and these are many tributaries that are mainly joining this river Narmada. And here you can see there are number of dams here, Bargi, Tawa, Omkareshwar and Sardar Sarovar Dam on this river Narmada. And actually it is a west flowing river. Okay, it is a west flowing river. So here you have to know some facts regarding this river Narmada. So this river Narmada, it is the largest west flowing river, okay, in our country, and it mainly rises from this Maikala ranges, from this Amarkantak in Madhya Pradesh. And if you are talking about some important tributaries of Narmada, they are Hiran, Orsang, Barna and Kolar. And if you are talking about major hydropower projects on this river Narmada, they are Sardar Sarovar project. So here I want to give you one homework. So please try to refer about this Narmada Bachao Andolan. Okay, so it is one of the tribal tribal protest I can say here. So what is the impact of this dam, and what is Narmada Bachao Andolan? So whether the people who are displaced due to the construction of this dam, whether they are getting the compensation or not, let me know in the comment box. So what are the homework that I am giving? So please try to do that. That will be helpful for you itself. So whenever you are doing research, so you will be get to know some more important points, okay, that you can use in your prelims and also in your mains. So if you focus on this vocabulary, the first one is seafarer, that is a person who regularly travels in the sea, or also called as a sailor. Next one is plagued, means cause or continual trouble to distress or distress. Next one is triumph, means a great victory, and vagary means unexpected and as well as inexplicable change in a situation or in someone's behavior. So this is the vocabulary of the day. And now let us try to see the today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu. So the first topic here is, to salvage a World Cup, Supreme Court sends ball back to AIFF court. So this article, which is mainly talking about Committee of Administrators. So earlier regarding this AIFF, that is All India Football Federation. So Supreme Court came up with the committee, right? So this committee will be containing the nominated members but not elected members, and they will be taking some major decisions. So here FIFA recently banned India, okay, right? Why? Because especially there is a third party interference, that is a committee of administrators. They are not elected persons, they are taking decisions. Because of this, the third party interference, here FIFA banned India. But why Supreme Court came up with this judgment of terminating of this committee of administrators? Because here we are going to have this under 17th, okay, under 17 Women's World Cup in October, and actually for this match here the tickets are also started selling of these tickets, but suddenly FIFA banned India to organize any football matches or to host any matches. So it will be like a problem for India to host this under 17 Women World Cup, okay. So because of this, yes, this is the one important decision taken by Supreme Court to terminate this committee of administrators. to manage this All India Football Federation. And the court also transferred this day-to-day management of this All India Football Federation from the hands of this this COA, that is Committee of Administrators, to the Federation Administration. Okay, mainly led by adding Secretary General. Okay, so this is the one important thing that you have to focus. And if you move on, you can see most Jammu and Kashmir parties oppose the voting right for the outsiders. This topic is very important. If time permits, in the tomorrow's lecture, I am going to discuss that. And next topic here is Am a Rajput won't bow before the corrupt Sisoda. So this article is talking about this excise policy of New Delhi. And if you move on in the city page, there is nothing much important. You can leave this page. And the states page, you can see this image, that is Narmada river. So I took this image for the topic of the day, and I discussed some important facts regarding this Narmada river. And if you move forward here, you can see Delhi Varanasi bullet train project hits roadblock. So here what happened, the proposed high speed rail corridor, that is between Delhi and Varanasi, which is mainly having a roadblock because they are having the multiple curves and they have to go for land acquisition for this bullet train. So because of this, it is having some roadblocks to get the clearances, environment clearances. And in this page number 5, there is nothing much important. And here you can see here Rangana bird sanctuary reopens. Okay, so here you have to see where is this bird sanctuary is located. That is in Karnataka, and actually it had been opened for the tourists now. So here you have to know about what is the importance of this Rangana bird sanctuary. And in this editorial, so most of the articles are political articles that will be not important from your UPSC point of view. So this development and ecological balance topic I discussed in the discussion. And next one here is I discussed about this Anganwadi scheme, and I want to give you one homework. It is regarding execution in the Myanmar. And if you move forward in this text and context, I discussed about this Delhi excise policy article. And if you move forward in this news page, so there is nothing much important. And this 11th page also nothing much important. And this 12th page, you can see this article regarding Stomata Flu. So I discussed this topic, and I discussed about this India-Iran pact. And there is one article here you have to refer here is India-Australia boost ties on education. So here you have to know about other areas of cooperation between India and Australia. And in this world space here you can see at UNSC meet, India calls on countries to respect each other's sovereignty. Okay, so this article is also very important, and please try to go through that article once. And here you can see UK shrank 11% in 2020, drop worst since 1709. So Britain, which recorded the highest foreign output in more than 300 years in 2020, okay, because of this COVID-19 pandemic. And we can see there is a large decline of economy of this Britain, which is mainly seen. And the gross domestic product, that is GDP, which mainly fell by 11% in this 2020. So it is one of the cause of concern, not only for this UK, but even many other countries, they had a lot of impact due to this COVID-19 pandemic. So these are some articles that appeared in now today's Hindu newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So if you like this article, so please hit the like button and try to share this video to your friends also. And if you are new to this Rathod Science Academy, so try to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so that you will be getting regular notifications. And if you have any suggestions, so please leave your suggestions in the comment box. So by this I am concluding. Thank you so much and have a great day.